Well, good afternoon again, folks. Two videos in the last hour about different bikes. This bike is an Interceptor that belongs to Will B in the UK. Will contacted me a couple of weeks ago to say that his rectifier was doing the usual, charging light coming on and flat battery and the usual, symptoms of when the rectifier's overheated in the stock location and effectively it's burning out. And he said he was getting problems, so he bought the relocation kit from me to relocate the rectifier to the underneath the oil cooler, and I duly sent that off to him same day. It arrived Royal Mail 24 the next day, as I always send them out like that. And Will then came round to actually doing the relocation. I send out video clips and text instructions and so on, which facilitate that. And it's not difficult to do, as I've said in previous videos. Complete novices have done it. They've never picked a spanner up before. However, when Will took his rectifier off, this was the block terminal on the wiring harness side. Yes, frying tonight. And he cut it off on my advice. This is on the wiring harness side. So what had happened was, because the rectifier regulator had overheated, as they do in that location, it heated up the wires, and the wires then heated up the block connector, and that, as I say, that's the bit that's attached to the wiring harness. So effectively, that was the cause of his problems was the rectifier burning out and overheating, and then of course the next stage on, mission creep, it annealed the wires, the copper wires. They were all very black and dirty looking, and as you can see from that connector there, it's got so hot that the two left pins, actually both of them, have got so hot that they have melted. So I made what I refer to as a little rescue kit. So that is the wiring harness side. The wires, I'm using the correct gauge wire, obviously. So basically that can be grafted onto the vehicle wiring harness. So you're not having to, you can restore it effectively to what it should be and not change anything on it, because that's my particular passion, is that you don't start butchering things. So sometimes when people have that problem, I make these rescue kits, as I call them. The wires, as you can see, I've labelled red, and the other two are black. Now, obviously, they are not red and black wires. I just use the correct gauge wire that I've got and send out little solder connectors and so on. So I sent Will one, and it disappeared in the post. So I sent him another one, and then about a week, 8 days later, both arrived at the same time. So he's now got a spare. The second one I sent, as you can see, has got grey and black wires on. And if you look at on the right hand side there, that's the shrink tubing. So underneath that you've got these solder connectors, like a little ring of solder in a plastic tube, and you heat it with a cigarette lighter, butane lighter, and it melts it, and then you can put that shrink tubing on. And effectively that's now been grafted onto the vehicle wiring harness, restoring it to the pre-frying tonight stage. Like I say, I am not a proponent of cutting things off the wiring harness if it can't be put back to exactly what it should be, because if you I've seen other channels where people start cutting wires off, but you're committed to that for the rest of the life of the bike. So at least this way now, Will has not only has he got a spare, which he'll never need, because he's relocated his rectifier to the front of the bike. Wise move. So he's got a spare one. So if anybody does buy a kit and find that they've got this issue where the wires have overheated and damaged that block terminal, it's pointless plugging in extension cables into a burned or melted connector like that. So what you need is one of these little rescue kits. And for people that buy a relocation kit from me, if they do discover that they've got a melted terminal, then I just send out a rescue kit free of charge, as I did with Will twice. So there it is. There's Will's relocation. nice. It's got stainless steel flange nuts, top and bottom, straight on, and that's with a bash plate, a skid plate on the bike. Because quite a few people say to me, "Oh, can I fit the kit? Can I relocate if I've got a skid plate?" Well, yes, you quite obviously can, look. And there it is. It's a neat job, that. Well done, Will. We got there in the end and waited for... well, it was Royal Mail 24 that I sent the first connector, the first rescue kit to him. And I think the definition of Royal Mail 24, I think they meant 24 days. Anyway, he's now got both. So a happy end. And if you look in that chrome there, you can see a picture of Will holding his phone up. So, nice one, Will. Well done. And as I say, if you do buy a kit and relocate, which I would strongly advise, and you do find that you've got a melted terminal, then as a slick customer, you'll get a rescue kit free of charge. Worldwide. How's that? In the meantime, take care, and I'll post again soon. Bye for now.